Do you ever find yourself just kind of seemingly going through the motions and it just feels like you can't get off of your phone or other things that feel like you're just distracting and preventing the thing that you need to do? I'm Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions, and we're talking about avoidance today. The more that we avoid, the more that we're reinforcing avoidant behaviors. And it gets so much so and so compounded that we don't even realize how much we are avoiding and what we're avoiding. And ultimately, it comes down to very key principles that are so buried in all of the avoidant behaviors we have that we can't even imagine stopping the avoidance because we're really so suppressed and afraid and lack the capacity of what is happening here. In avoidance, we have, in psychology, we have what we call the anxious cycle. Distressing thought, feeling, or behavior leads to avoidance, gives us a little dopamine pool for whatever it is that we did, and we have a little feel good, not having to deal with whatever we're distressed about, but it gives us long-term anxiety growth, and that's the anxious cycle. I added a piece and I called it the negative cycle, because ultimately when we're doing that, what we're doing is we are ultimately saying that I don't have capacity to do this thing. So we are stripping ourselves from the capacity to do something, and fear that we won't be able to do anything similar in regard. We're devaluing ourselves implicitly and explicitly. So we're saying, I don't have a lot of value. I really don't have a lot of value. And we're lowering our motivation to want to do better. And if you zoom in and go into my negative dynamic and we talk about this negative narrative, that capacity and motivation and value comes up very, very clearly in the negative narrative. So whether you decided not to try out for a collegiate sport, you decided not to do the speech that you were supposed to, you called in sick that day, no matter what it is that you ended up not doing, it feeds itself and it feeds that negative narrative and it continues to grow in this lack of capacity, low value, and low motivation to do better. And as overwhelming as it feels like, well, let's just throw our hands up and say, whatever, this is how it's gonna be. I'm just gonna live in sin my whole life. No, we can neutralize that cycle and we can start building up a positive flow state. So just because avoidance leads to more avoidance doesn't mean that that is our value or ever was our value. And when we can figure out what that negative narrative is and what keeps us in these negative cycles, and we can start neutralizing, then we can start letting go of this sense of lack of capacity, this sense that I can't do it and what's the point, all cognitive distortions, and instead start doing little micro wins that pull us into a positive state. And so, with my executive clients, with my individual clients and patients, and with my couples and groups, what we do is we're trying to ground, be mindful, let go of the things that don't serve us, reorganize some of the thoughts that we have so that we can see, does this serve us? Do I need to donate it? Or do I keep this? And I talked about that at the beginning of this week, so go back to that video of mindfulness and letting go. When we can do that, then we can get into that leadership presence. And as we're in the leadership presence, we're making action-oriented decisions. And those action-oriented decisions are going to be based on our values, our beliefs, our goals, our intentions. And as we're doing that, we're growing in capacity. You see how this flow state is starting? We're growing in capacity, we're growing in value, we're growing in purpose. And as we grow in purpose, value, meaning as we live amongst our internal beliefs, we start to find that we gain that value, that capacity. We start to lessen the anxiety and depression and all these things that are happening in our mental health. We're quieting the brain. It's no longer reactionary because it feels very stable and safe. We're meeting our universal constructs. We don't have to prevent or protect against them. We are solid in knowing that we have agency. And as long as we know and connected to our agency and our value, then we know that we are safe and secure. And when we know that we're safe and secure, we know that we belong. And as we're following ourselves, then we feel very seen and heard. We are grounded in who we are. Our universal constructs are locked tight. We are in secure attachment. We are feeling really good in joy and value and meaning. We are living the life that we want. We don't have to escape to these perceived realities. We can live very wholly and safely in the here and now. There's so much good, and we just take these leadership principles by grounding in the here and now, seeing what serves us, setting an intention and a goal and a purpose, and living towards it. And this is what I do for my clients. I have books out. We can talk about the negative brain. Saying goodbye to bad brain helps you understand very clinically and technically kind of what the brain is doing. And we have workbooks exactly for this, a success-driven workbook. We're looking at what our purpose is on building a framework of success. Key steps to live a happier and healthier life. Part 1 on life worth living. Part 2 of key steps to live a happier and healthier life, emotional regulation, getting that filter in check so we can keep moving on. And then part 3, which is the groups that we are doing this round. We start this week with our young professionals group and our couples success group. So we're learning interpersonal skills. We're learning how to maximize on networking and communication to build the healthiest and strongest relationships and be able to influence people to achieve a win-win situation every time. And a part of all of this is understanding that we have to be in touch with our emotions and our empathy, and stress will strip all of that away. And so I actually built an algorithm of empathy so that no matter where you are in your state of wanting to change, that you have a way to fake it till you make it and be present with others, which is also helping you to be present with yourself. To then analyze the situation, every situation that you're in, to see what is this? What is my grab? What is your grab? What is the grab of the situation? What is the situation asking for? What is my grab? And then being able to act accordingly. Now that you're in a grounded state, now we're making action-oriented decisions. And instead of getting entangled in the emotion of how we're lost, how we're lacking value, how we're not seen and heard, how we don't feel like we belong, how we fear that we may not be safe, how we don't feel like we have agency, what we're doing is we're making an agency mindset. And that agency mindset says, bye-bye avoidance. I don't need you. I don't need to be scrolling on my phone for hours at a time. It will not serve me. It's not even that it does not serve me, it will not serve me. And whatever else that you're doing to avoid, I promise you, the life that you can build in a positive flow state is so much better than all the things that you're doing to escape and avoid. Over 50 clinical terms for avoidance. We do it very, very well. So there's no shame in this game. There's nothing saying, man, like if I only had more willpower. If you go to my blog, I actually have the language of discipline. It's a great blog. We say we need to be more strict. We say we don't have willpower. We say we don't have control, and it keeps us in bondage. It keeps us in these avoidant places. We never really resolve anything. We just create chaos in the wake of perceived control. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up. If you find that this is valuable, please share it with others. There's so much good in being able to find these flow states. And all it takes is a neutralized cycle. All it takes is to sit still and say, this is uncomfortable. I don't love this. But what am I doing about it? And do I love that even more? Or does that give me more shame and make me even more uncomfortable? No shame in the game. Non-judgment. Stay present. And as you do that, this whole world opens up of positive energy, of meaning and purpose and intention. And as we set those intentions, that key steps, that success framework is the perfect place to start. Find those values, set those goals, build those intentions. And now you are in a positive flow state. Please subscribe. I talk a lot about relationships, about success and leadership, and about our own mental health and our own personal growth journeys. And if this is something that you want to do to live a happier and healthier life, then subscribe and learn more, because I love to share this with you. I've got self-help books, I've got individual coaching. If you are out of the state of Virginia and Florida, I can do coaching. I can do coaching in the state of Florida and Virginia. I can also, as a licensed mental health counselor, I can connect you with your insurance, and we can pay a copay to be able to get through and break through these things that are holding us back. When we want to move forward, these are the ways that we can find what's holding us back. And if you're still not sure, click the link for a free 15-minute wellness insight. All it is a consultation, a no obligation consultation, to get to know me, for me to get to know you, so that we can work this journey together. And for those who are really, really wanting to make a whole transformation, I highly recommend going to my website and looking at those retreats. I will transform your life in 3 days. I have a remission rate of anxiety and depression in 1 to 3 sessions. Imagine what we can do in 3 days together. I am Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions. Thank you so much.